This is a horrific act of political violence that ought to be roundly condemned. Obviously, we can't go on like this as a society. You know, our prayers are with President Trump, all the rally attendees, certainly the family of the individual that lost their life and those who were injured. We have gotten briefings from law enforcement. I spoke to Secretary Mayorkas last night and asked him some pointed questions with regard to Homeland Security and what happened there. I've already announced that Congress will do a full investigation of the tragedy yesterday to determine where there were lapses in security and anything else that the American people need to know and deserve to know. But in the meantime, we've got to turn the rhetoric down. We've got to turn the temperature down in this country. We need leaders of all parties on both sides to call that out and make sure that happens so that we can go forward and maintain our free society that we all are blessed.
I've spoken to him at length, and I've also talked to the people who were supposedly in charge of security that day. I've talked to Secretary Mayorkas at Homeland Security. I talked to the Director of National Intelligence. I talked to the leadership of the FBI. The answers that they are providing to us thus far are not satisfactory. No. And so I announced this morning that we're going to set up a special task force, a precision strike on this. It'll be a bipartisan investigatory group, and they will have subpoena authority. We're going to get down to the bottom of this quickly. I also called for the Director of the Secret Service, Ms. Cheadle, to step down from her post. I think she needs to resign because I think what happened there does not require a thorough investigation. We can all see and understand just by what we've observed that there was serious security lapses. And her initial explanation that the roof was too slanted to provide security there just doesn't wash.
It's been almost a week now since Trump came within less than an inch of losing his life after a shooter opened fire at his rally. Guys, we are talking about a head turn away. You know, we are talking about an event that should be airtight, but yet here we are.
It's 6:03 p.m. on Saturday, July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania. Former President Donald Trump takes the stage at a campaign rally. 6:05 p.m. Trump stands behind the podium and begins to speak.
This is a big crowd. This is a big, beautiful crowd.
Rally attendees have been scanned for weapons before entering the event. Secret Service counter-snipers are seen positioned on top of these two buildings located behind where the former president is speaking.
The Republican...
6:09 p.m., 2 minutes before the first gunshots. While Trump is speaking, witnesses notice a gunman on the roof of a nearby building located here, outside the security perimeter. He's in an elevated position and around 400 feet away from the former president. 6:10 p.m., 1 minute before the first gunshots. A bystander captures what appears to be local law enforcement walking around looking at these two structures. Local law enforcement would later tell ABC News they had been alerted of suspicious activity in the area and were in the process of looking for a potential suspect.
You guys are doing it.
6:10 p.m. Trump pivots his head slightly to the right and starts describing a chart showing immigration stats. One of the counter-sniper teams is visible in this witness video. These onlookers notice something is off and start running away from where the shooter is located. 6:11 p.m. Trump has been speaking for about 8 minutes.
Our country took over, and look what happened to us.
A supporter captures this footage from outside the rally perimeter moments before gunshots are heard.
You know, that's a little bit...
The first shot rings out. A second and a third shot are heard. Former President Trump ducks behind the podium. Another round of shots. 6:12 p.m. More agents huddle around Trump. About 15 seconds go by and we hear one last shot. From these bleachers located to the right of where Trump is speaking, a bystander captures agents huddled around the former president, shielding him. He then shifts the camera to the crowd. Someone needs help. An attendee appears to be shot, possibly in the head. An ER doctor jumping in to help. The victim will later be identified as 50-year-old Corey Compertor, a firefighter and a father of two. The family would post tributes online later that evening.
My condolences to the family and friends.
Right, we couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him.
These are my words exactly. Why is Trump still speaking? You understand? Why is that situation not being taken care of? Why did that have to happen?
He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for 2-3 minutes.
Wow.
Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
Binoculars.
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs
Why?
here?
Why?
I mean, this is not a big place.
This is wild. The director of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, came out early last week and blamed the slope of the roof for making it unsafe to put a sniper there. You've got to be kidding me. You can't make this stuff up, man.
No, it's hard
you
to
just
swallow.
can't. So you didn't put a counter sniper team on the roof because of a slope. The shooter didn't seem to have any issues with that slope. There's snipers on the White House roof, and that has way more slope than the building that was at the Trump rally. How could so many people see this guy, alert law enforcement, and nothing happen? And even if the roof was unstable, why didn't they just block the line of sight? No, why didn't they just block it so no one could get on the roof? There should have been probably 3 or 4 point coverage around the building. They couldn't even put up a simple campaign banner to obstruct the shooter's view. Come on, man, this is crazy. It's mind-boggling to say the least. You know it, I know it. Apparently, even Secret Service knew about or saw the shooter on the roof about 20 or more minutes before he fired on the president. Okay, so if that's the case, you see the guy, you don't do anything. Let's just assume you don't because you don't want to fire the first shot and create chaos or something along those lines. Fine, I can get with that. But why allow Trump to even go on stage at that point? Why not just go up there and pull him off? But I'm pretty sure he was at the beginning of the speech or very early stages of his speech. So why allow him to either get on the stage or keep going? I just don't understand it.
Questions are yet to be answered.